Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. We're going to go back to an oldie but a goodie. We're going to talk about delivery of the property. So here's your scenario. You're approaching settlement and a pipe bursts in the basement. Or it's just happened to me. They're replacing your heater and they take out the old, like 40-year-old humidifier that was attached to this never worked since I've owned the home. And they didn't realize a pipe was charged and water flooded my basement as they scrambled to try to turn off the water. So something like that happens where there's potentially a little damage, not catastrophic, right? Because that would invoke other parts of the REPSI if it was significant damage. But let's say, it's potentially ripping up some carpet, maybe replacing some drywall, some baseboards, something like that. What is the responsibility of the parties in this one? First of all, does the seller have a responsibility to notify the buyer? I would think yes, because you have now a defect, right? You have a problem that you're aware of, and you've already, as a seller, probably provided information that did not include this issue. And so I would think, yes, for sure it's a good idea and probably required to disclose that to the buyer. And so then what are your obligations beyond that? Well, if we look at section 10.3 of the REPSI, so 10.3, condition of property / seller acknowledgments. So it talks in here about seller's disclosures, but then it also says buyer is responsible to deliver the property. Seller. Seller is responsible to deliver the property to buyer in substantially the same general condition as it was on the date of acceptance. Ordinary wear and tear accepted. So, little scuffs, just normal stuff that happens in the house, not included in this. But a minor flood in the basement is not a ordinary wear and tear issue, right? It's a little beyond that. So, seller has a duty to remedy that prior to delivering the property, right? Now, whether you need more time to do that or not, because we know that escrowing money for repairs is really, really hard if a loan is involved. So you may have to look at the time frame, whether it's pushing that off or negotiating something else. But it needs to be addressed because the seller has promised to deliver the property not without a flood having occurred and the damage from that flood having occurred. So any other defect, I suppose even the furnace dying like mine just did, the motor going out in the furnace, well, it was working when it went under contract. So I would think you'd need to repair that before delivering the property. Yeah. So just keep in mind, you disclose it. Why would you disclose it if you're just going to fix it? Well, because I want the buyer again to be able to be aware of what's going on. I might need their help in the timing. And then I don't want them claiming I hid something. So it notifies them if they want to come look at it. I might let them do that, right? They're probably beyond their due diligence deadline, maybe their finance deadline, so they don't necessarily have an out, but I want them to be able to look at it, sign off on it, so they don't come back after closing and say, you've got, you threw some paint on this, you didn't do it properly, there were issues. I'd rather resolve those prior to closing than have a little bit of a headache afterwards. And I want to be transparent so they don't accuse me of, as a seller, of hiding anything. So that's probably how I would handle it. We'll talk a little bit about what happens if a pre-existing condition pops up as discovered by seller after the due diligence deadline. I think that's an interesting topic. But we're not going to get into that today. Remember, this is not legal advice. This is legal information only. If you need specific legal advice, please contact your attorney. Thanks for tuning in.